Battersea, London. Christmas Eve, 2019. The air is sharp with winter chill. Fairy lights flicker along Battersea Church Road. Families huddle inside, wrapping gifts, sipping mulled wine. The Thames glints under a pale moon. It's the kind of night that feels safe, festive, ordinary. But ordinary doesn't live here anymore. Not tonight. At 9 p.m, a man steps out of the shadows. He's not carrying presents. He's carrying a pistol. 10 shots rip through the silence. 8 find their mark. Flamur Beqiri, 36, a father, a husband, a music executive, collapses in a pool of blood. His wife screams, cradling their 2-year-old son. Their 3-month-old baby waits inside, oblivious. This wasn't a robbery. This wasn't a mistake. This was an execution. A message carved in bullets, sent by a world most never see. A world of Albanian gangs, drug empires, and blood feuds that stretch from London to Scandinavia. Tonight, we unravel the assassination of Flamur Beqiri. No fluff, just the raw truth of a hit that shook Battersea and exposed a criminal network too bold to hide. Hit that subscribe button if you crave real crime stories with no fluff, just facts, fear, and the faces behind the trigger. Because this isn't just a murder, it's a warning. Battersea hums with life. Victorian terraces line the streets, their windows glowing with Christmas cheer. Yuppies sip craft beer in riverside pubs. Joggers pound the Thames path. It's a postcard of modern London, wealthy, polished, safe. But peel back the sheen, and another Battersea emerges, one where money isn't earned in boardrooms but in back rooms, where loyalty is bought with cash and enforced with fear. Over the past decade, South London has become a quiet battleground, not for postcode gangs or knife-wielding teens, but for something colder, more calculated. Albanian organised crime has taken root. They don't flash wealth on Instagram. They don't brawl in the open. They move like ghosts, kilos in, cash out, no trace. Their network is a machine, safe houses in quiet suburbs, encrypted phones that vanish, front businesses from nail salons to coffee shops. And when someone crosses them, the response isn't loud, it's lethal. Flamur Beqiri wasn't a bystander, he wasn't a saint. Born in Albania, raised in Sweden, he landed in London 4 or 5 years before his death. To the world, he was a music executive, a record label boss with a knack for spotting talent. He lived in a £1.7 million Battersea home, drove sleek cars, married Deborah Krasniki in a lavish Lake Como ceremony. His sister, Missy Beqiri, starred on The Real Housewives of Cheshire, rubbing shoulders with reality TV glitz. But beneath the polished surface, whispers followed Flamur. Whispers of a darker life. Swedish police knew him as more than a music man. Since 2007, they'd suspected him of international drug dealing. Arrests across Europe, never convicted but always on the radar. In Sweden, he was once named one of the country's most wanted, tied to a drug smuggling ring. He beat the rap, walked away with a suspended sentence for handling smuggled goods. Cigarettes, alcohol, nothing heavy, or so he claimed. But in the underworld, reputations stick, and Flamur's reputation wasn't clean. He wasn't a kingpin, not in the way the movies paint it. He wasn't Tony Montana, snarling orders from a mansion. He was a player, a cog in a machine far bigger than him, a machine that trafficked cocaine and cannabis across borders, laundered millions through shell companies, and settled scores with bullets. Prosecutors would later say Flamur was caught in a feud between 2 Swedish crime networks. A violent rivalry, they called it, rooted in narcotics and revenge. One network, led by figures like Flamur and his associate Naif Adawi, clashed with another tied to Amir Mekki, a 24-year-old dealer in cocaine and cannabis. The stakes, power, money, survival. In this world, trust is a luxury, and Flamur, for all his charm, made enemies. Maybe he crossed the wrong man, maybe he owed the wrong debt, or maybe he was just a name on a list, a loose end to tie up. Whatever the truth, someone decided he had to go. Christmas Eve, 2019. The stage is set. Flamur and Deborah return home after an evening out. Their 2-year-old son toddles beside them, Their 3-month-old waits inside with grandparents. It's a family moment, warm, fleeting. But across the street, death is waiting. A man steps forward. He's not random, he's a professional. Anis Hemisi, 24, a Swedish kickboxer with no UK criminal record but a resume of violence. He's not alone. A team of 4, all Swedish nationals, has been planning this for 6 months. They're meticulous, disciplined, ruthless. Hemisi is the trigger man, but the others, Estevan Pino Munizaga, Tobias Fredrik Andersson, Bauer Kara, are his shadow, his support, his escape. They've rented a flat in Oyster Wharf, steps from Flamur's home. They've bought a bicycle, a litter picker, a high-vis jacket. They've worn latex masks, posed as street cleaners, scoped the target for days. One neighbour, Jeremy Lyons, spotted Hemisi days earlier, pretending to pick litter on private streets. Suspicious, Lyons confronted him. Hemisi fled, but the plan didn't waver. At 9 p.m, Hemisi strikes. He's dressed dark, face obscured. He fires 10 rounds from a self-loading pistol. 8 hit Flamur, chest, back, head. Deborah screams, shielding their son. The grandparents rush out. Neighbours hear the shots, the cries, the chaos. Flamur lies still, blood pooling on the doorstep. Hemisi doesn't run. He walks, calm, to a bike parked on the Thames path. He rides off, ditches the bike, and by the early hours of Christmas Day he's on a flight to Copenhagen. The others follow, slipping out of London like smoke. Back at the scene, locals hire cleaners to scrub the blood. The killers hired their own, Clifford Rollox and Claude Isaac Castor, UK residents, tasked with erasing evidence. The flat is wiped, the bike's abandoned, the gun's gone. By dawn, Battersea is quiet again. But the ghosts are stirring. The Metropolitan Police don't sleep. Detective Inspector Jamie Stevenson takes the lead. He knows this isn't random. Flamur's past, Albanian heritage, Swedish criminal links, points to a targeted hit. The Met liaises with Swedish police, digging into Flamur's history. They learn of the feud, the rival networks, the bodies piling up in Sweden. Naif Adawi, Flamur's friend, survived a hit in Malmö where his wife, Caroline Hakim, was shot dead holding their baby. Another associate, Zakaria El Kayati, was murdered after a kidnapping gone wrong. The pattern is clear. This is a war, and Flamur was a casualty. But who pulled the trigger? The Met starts small. CCTV footage shows a figure firing, fleeing on a bike. House-to-house inquiries turn up nothing. Witnesses heard 10 shots, saw a lone gunman, but no face, no name. Then a break. A resident reports the litter picker incident. The police trace the bike, the flat, the disguises. They're dealing with professionals, but professionals make mistakes. The investigation goes global. January 20th, 2020. Copenhagen Airport. Danish police arrest a 22-year-old Swedish national under a European arrest warrant. His name, Anis Fuad Hemisi. He's extradited to the UK by June, charged with murder and firearm possession. The Met doesn't stop there. October 8th, 2020. Swedish police raid addresses in Stockholm and Växjö, arresting 3 more. Estevan Pino Munizaga, 35, Tobias Fredrik Andersson, 32, and Bauer Kara, 23. All Swedish nationals, all linked to the hit. Extradition proceedings begin. In London, Clifford Rollox, 31, and Claude Isaac Castor, 21, are nabbed for perverting the course of justice. The net is tightening, but the why remains murky. Was it revenge for a drug deal gone sour? A power play in the Swedish underworld? Or something personal, a betrayal only the shadows know? The police don't care about motives. They want evidence, and they're about to get it. Southwark Crown Court, December 2021. The trial begins. Anis Hemisi stands in the dock, face blank, saying nothing. The others, Pino Munizaga, Andersson, Kara, deny murder. Rollox and Castor deny clean-up charges. The prosecution, led by Peter Ratliff, is relentless. They paint a picture of a tit-for-tat rivalry between 2 crime groups. Flamur, they say, was a kingpin, not a bystander. Swedish detective Kajsa Delmar Wigström testifies. Flamur was neck-deep in drugs since 2007, arrested multiple times, tied to a network clashing with Amir Meki's crew. Deborah Krasniqi, Flamur's wife, takes the stand. She denies he was a gangster, insists he was a music man, a family man. Her voice cracks as CCTV plays. Her screams, her son in her arms, Flamur's body on the ground. The jury watches, silent. The evidence mounts: burner phones, flight records, the Oyster Wharf flat, a latex mask, a litter picker, a bike with Himisi's DNA, a neighbour's testimony about the street cleaner. It's damning. The prosecution's star is the digital trail. Cell tower pings place Himisi in Battersea days before the hit. Traffic cams catch the bike's path. A recovered burner phone, cracked open, reveals coded messages. Target acquired. Clean exit. The jury hears it all. The defence fights back, claiming mistaken identity. No direct witnesses, no murder weapon, but the litter picker story sticks. Jeremy Lyons' testimony, that moment he chased Himisi off, becomes the crack in the plan. Himisi's team argues he was framed, a pawn in a bigger game. Pino Munizaga and the others claim they were just in London, no proof of involvement. Rolox and Caster say they cleaned a flat, not a crime scene. It's a desperate play, but the evidence is a mountain. The jury deliberates. February 11th, 2022. Verdict day. Anis Hemisi is found guilty of murder and firearm possession. Life sentence, minimum 35 years. Estevan Pino Munizaga is convicted of manslaughter, not murder. A lesser role, but still caged. Tobias Frederick Anderson and Bauer Carrera walk free, acquitted of murder. Clifford Rolox and Claude Isaac Castor are convicted of perverting justice, their clean-up failing to erase the truth. The courtroom is heavy, the public gallery packed. Deborah weeps silently. Missa Beqiri, Flamur's sister, isn't there. She stayed away, shielding her fame from the ugliness. The judge's words cut deep. This was an audacious execution, meant to induce terror. She's not wrong. The hit wasn't just about Flamur. It was a signal, a flare shot across borders, from London to Malmö to Copenhagen. A message that no one is untouchable. But here's the angle you haven't heard. This isn't just a story of crime and punishment. It's a story of ghosts. Ghosts of choices, ghosts of loyalties, ghosts of a man who thought he could outrun his past. Flamur Beqiri wasn't born a criminal. He was a kid from Albania, a teen in Sweden, a dreamer who chased music, love, a life beyond the concrete towers of Malmö. Somewhere along the way, he made a choice, a deal, a connection, a step into the shadows. Maybe he thought he could control it, play the game, stay one step ahead. He moved to London, built a family, a facade of legitimacy. But the underworld doesn't forget. It doesn't forgive. Flamur's ghost haunts Battersea, not because he was a saint or a monster, but because he was human, flawed, ambitious, caught in a machine that chews up dreamers and spits out bodies. The investigation didn't end with Hemisi's conviction. Operation Black Veil, a joint effort by the Met, Europol and Interpol, kicked into high gear. 17 arrests across Essex, Kent and London. £4 million in assets frozen. Safe houses raided, burner phones cracked, shell companies exposed. The Albanian network, once invisible, started to bleed into the light. In Sweden, Naif Adawi was charged with attempted murder and firearms offences, tied to the same feud that killed Flamur. Amir Mekki's crew faced their own reckoning, with associates like Zakaria El-Kayati already dead. The war wasn't over, but the police were winning battles. Every raid, every arrest was a brick pulled from the cartel's wall. And it started with one mistake. A litter picker, a nosy neighbour, a bike left behind. Battersea Church Road is quiet now. The fairy lights are gone, the blood long scrubbed. Families still walk these streets, kids still play, life moves on, but the ghosts linger. Flamur's ghost, Anis Hemisi's ghost, the ghosts of every deal, every betrayal, every bullet. They whisper in the wind off the Thames, a warning to anyone who thinks they can dance with the devil and walk away. The Albanian gangs haven't vanished. They're still here, in the nail salons, the coffee shops, the shadows. But so are the watchers, the Met, Europol, the neighbours who notice too much. In a world built on silence, one crack, one glance, one bike, one nosy resident can bring it all down. This is Crime Pulse. We dug through the shadows to bring you Flamur Beqiri's story, not as a headline, but as a truth about choices, consequences, and the machine that grinds them together. If you're still with us, drop your clue in the comments. What detail stuck with you? The latex mask? The neighbour's hunch? Let's talk. And if you want more stories like this, real cases, real stakes, no filter, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. We drop new stories every day, pulling back the curtain on a world most never see. Let's keep chasing the truth together,